What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on what's going on with these Lakers, man. Now that LeBron James is no longer with this organization, man, it just seems like they can't stay out they can't quit making headlines. Now they have first they made the headlines for selling the team for the second time. I think we're like within a year and a half, right? And now they're saying that the sale really didn't go through because Jeanie Buss is protesting it, right? She's saying that her siblings did not have the right to sell their shares in the team, because she has controlling interest, right? And my thing is, if I think you should be able to sell your own shares. You know what I mean? Like if she have her shares and she don't want to sell them, it just seems to me that she'd be able to she can hold on to her shares, and whoever have shares, the other siblings, I think it's six of them altogether. Well, she makes number six, right? And so the five other siblings, they're making it sound like they have to get her permission in order to sell their shares, right? And so the information that the guy from ESPN came up with Shams, they said was incorrect. And so so people kind of calling him out for putting bogus information out there, which the guy Shams, in my opinion, I don't really, his credibility to me is not really not the best anyway. So I don't really rely on him for any news or anybody really from ESPN. I don't really pay them any attention at all. But she's saying that the information that he put out there is bogus, because he didn't have all the facts, right? And so with that being said, man, I'm gonna play the audio from a podcast called the Basketball Show, right? And so what he did was he reacted to it. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna react to some of the things that he said about the sale of the Lakers, and then I'm gonna come back, with my input.
Hours ago, Shams Charania posted this tweet, and it said, breaking, the Buss family has decided to sell its remaining 17.8 ownership stake in the Los Angeles Lakers to new majority owners Josh Kushner and Bob Iger, sources tell ESPN. The Buss family trust, composed of siblings Jeanie, Jim, Johnny, Jane, Joey, and Jesse, all freaking Jays, received majority votes to allow trustees to execute a sale. It required 4 of 6 votes to enact the tag-along provision of Mark Walters' sale to Kushner and Iger, which valued the Lakers at $12.5 billion. Then another one comes out where he says, once a transaction is completed, Jeanie Buss will no longer have the required ownership percentage to remain governor. NBA guidelines require controlling governor to own at least 15% of the franchise. Then he posts 4 hours ago, statement from the Buss family ESPN, we've decided as a family to sell the remaining Buss family trust shares to the Bob Iger Group as part of the ongoing transaction. We love the Lakers fans, and continue to support the Los Angeles Lakers, blah, 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 blah.
All right, hold up. Now let me say this, right? So now what this sounds like to me is a buyout, right? The people who own the Lakers, they may not want Jeanie Buss to be the governor, right? And so in order for her not to be the governor, they have to get the rest of the siblings to agree to a buyout, which it seemed like they did. But it seems like Jeanie Buss wants to fight this because she still wants to have some type of stake in the Lakers organization. That's what it seemed like is going on. She wants to be able to still have some type of stake in the Lakers organization, whereas though the rest of the siblings, or at least 4 of them out of the 6, are willing to part ways with the organization, right? So she's trying to fight it. I don't know if she's going to be able to win though, because it has already been said that, as if the Laker family don't have a certain percentage, which they won't, this sale is allowed to stand of the their shares, then she will be out of the Laker organization also. And I think, Jeanie Buss enjoys being a part of the organization. And so, she wants to be able to at least be connected to the organization and continue on as governor. So I don't know, man. It just seems like this family, the Buss family, um, can't get on the same page. Even before they sold it the first time, they've been going back and forth because Jeanie Buss was not really happy with the way that the team was going, the way that her siblings were running the team. So she stepped in and took control of the team. Then once she took control of the team, she wound, they still wound up selling, a portion of the team because they were not as profitable, or they needed money, they needed cash flow for some, or some reason or another. So they had to sell. And when they sold at that time, the first time they sold just a portion, and they made it clear that she could stay on as a governor. But it comes out now that the only way that she'll be able to stay on is if they own a certain percentage of the team. And so now her percentage, along with her siblings' percentage, is what kept her, in that governor's seat. But now, that everybody else wants to sell, I think they want to be done with the team. And so that's going to hurt her standing with the team. So let me say this, though. I think that the NBA, in my opinion, I think is going through is going through some big changes, right? I think I counted, not and this was even before this sale. I counted like within the last few years, within the last decade, I think there were like 12 12 NBA teams sold, right? And I think a big part of this sales is reason why these teams are selling is because the NBA is not as profitable as it used to be. And it's probably not worth some of the headache that come along with running an NBA franchise. And you have to be and even some of the best teams in the league are not really selling out like they used to. And that profit sharing, I don't think is enough of an incentive for people to hold on to these teams, right? And so that's why you see so many teams just selling. They're changing ownership now, in my opinion, more frequently than I can even recall within my lifetime. That these teams are just changing ownership after ownership, right? And so unless your team is a team that's constantly in championship contention, then you really probably not making a lot of money, especially not off of attendance. And then when it comes to selling merch, you're probably not selling as much merch as just like a team like the Knicks or this. And even though the Celtics, I think they just sold their team. Well, I know they just sold their team, but I'm not sure how long ago. I think it was like about 3-4 years ago or so. They sold their team. So being an NBA owner is not all is cracked up to be. And I think that the NBA is probably going to go through some more changes. I think that this will be an opportunity and I made a video about this, but I think this will be an opportunity for the league to take on more ownerships, minority owners. This will be an opportunity for them, to take on more minority owners, because a lot of people are still interested in owning these teams. And some of the people who own teams now is looking like they really want to get out of the business. Like I said, if you're top 5 in attendance around the league, then you're doing good as far as like ticket sales and stuff like that. But other than that, man, it's probably hard to turn a profit in an NBA team. And so that's why, you see a lot of these teams right now they're just selling, and this this for the Lakers, this will be like the second time they're changing ownership, I think within like the last 2 or 3 years. So this is a sign, in my opinion, of more things to come. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.